Testing, 1, 2, 3, testing.
confirm that we've begun live streaming. Thank you. Okay, members, good evening and welcome to our Performance and Audit Committee meeting. Can I just remind everyone to please mute their mics at all times unless invited to speak to by myself. And we've begun live streaming. Members, just to welcome each one along to our meeting tonight, those in the chamber here and those zooming in online. You're very welcome to our meeting tonight. We do have some new members here and we welcome you to our first Performance and Audit Committee meeting. As we could remind all members that there is some training organised for this committee coming up, and also for those who are new to attend the induction where possible as well, coming up in June. But there will be some further training organised over the summer for this committee. So members, agenda item 1, apologies. Have any apologies from the floor? The only 2 I have received so far is Councillor O'Hanlon and Sam Hagan, our lay member. Is there any other apologies from the floor? No? Okay, members, thank you. Agenda item 2, our declarations of interest. Members, as normal, we'll take our declarations as we go unless anyone has any they want to give us now. Are we all happy to take them as we go? Thank you, members. And agenda item 3 then, we're students in Northern Ireland Office Audit Office report. This is an item for noting tonight, and members, I suppose, with during the committee meetings, we will have some for decisions, some for noting. Most items for noting we will take as members have read their papers before they come. Feel free to ask any questions, but there will be some other items that are important that we do give a brief on as well. So I'm going to ask Gary if he could give us a brief on this tonight on the agenda item 3. Brian, I believe Brian and he's going to take us to this, and I'm going to bring Brian in, please.
Yes, Chair.
Brian, you're welcome.
Thank you very much. I'm delighted to be here as part of the committee. Chair, just as you said, I'll take the report as read. I'm just happy to point out a couple of main issues in the report, if that's okay, just in terms of how we propose to audit the accounts of this year's council accounts at 31st of March 2023. We're independent of the council, so that independence is paramount to the audit office and the role of the local government auditor. We've a bit of information there at the top of page 2 on the overall account materiality, sitting at just over 2.2 million. And our significant audit risks, we've identified a couple of significant audit risks: the management override of controls and financial resilience. And I'll comment on those in a couple of minutes, if that's okay. We've also a bit of information there on proper arrangements and how we'll conduct our performance improvement audit later on in the year as well. The audit team, it's my first year. I've taken over responsibility for the audit, and there's a paper later on in the pack outlining that I've taken over from Colette Kane, and the full engagement team there is at section 4 of your document. But information there on our estimated audit fees this year, slight increase on last year's fees, but our Chief Operating Officer, Rodney Allen, wrote to all the chief executives at the end of last year, outlining the reason for that increase. And this Performance and Audit Committee there's a number of bullet points there that this Performance and Audit Committee should address: whether our assessment of the risks is complete, if management has plans in place to address the risks, our proposed audit response to these risks, and whether there's any knowledge of suspected alleged fraud or non-compliance with laws and regulations. Top of page 4 then, a wee bit more information on materiality. And our audit approach then on page 5 refers to the fact that, as I've already referred to, we're independent, how we manage personal data gained throughout the audit, how we use the work of internal audit, and some specialised skills that we will use throughout the audit. The top of page 7 then shows our respective responsibilities in preparing the financial statements, the arrangements in place to secure economy, efficiency and effectiveness, and a bit on performance audit there at the bottom of page 7. Moving on into page 9, the 2 risks that I'd referred to earlier. The first significant one, management override of controls, and our work to do to address that risk is we're going to take a look at journal entries, review the accounting estimates, and consider significant transactions that are outside the normal course of business for the council. The second risk that we've identified is financial resilience, and I suppose everybody's well aware of the current cost of living crisis, the high inflation rates, and the significant impact this will have on council finances. And how we'll address that by looking at how the Chief Financial Officer says it's a going concern for the council. examine the financial projections and plans prepared by the council, and look at any disclosures relating to this included in the accounts. The rest of the document, Chair, is really outlining our timetable for the audit for both the statutory accounts and the improvement audit, and outline the audit team in place. And right at the back of the document there, pages 15 and 16, we've produced a couple of appendices in which we have some good practice guides. The most recent one was planning fraud risks at the start of March there. And the public reports that probably are relevant to the local government sector. Most recent one being the planning in Northern Ireland back in February of last year. And a couple of reports that are coming down the pipeline: the review of waste management in Northern Ireland and the local government auditors report. So, Chair, that's a quick run through our audit strategy. We've already met with the Chief Executive and the Deputy Chief Executive at the start of this week. Last month, we met with Dominic, Leanne and Liam, the finance team, just to get a sense of how things were going. And our audit will be starting now in a few weeks over the summer. And hopefully we'll be in a position to certify the accounts by the end of September with, fingers crossed, a clean audit opinion.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for the work that's going on with us here. To yourself, Brian, and also to the work from all the team that are behind it, and all the work that's in this here. Members, there's an item for noting, but I see Councillor Alexander, you have a hand up there. Go ahead.
Thank you, Chair. And thank you, Brian. I read the report earlier on today. Just have one quick question really on the two risks that you identified, the high risk items. So the management overrides and the financial resilience. The financial resilient ones is kind of quite clear to me. On the management overrides, I'm just wondering what it was that led you to identify that as a high risk area. Was there, maybe a trigger? I saw that you'd sent out some questionnaires to, members of the team here. At council, was it maybe some of the, answers to those questions, or is it something that you've identified as high risk in the past? Could you just expand on that, please?
Yes. Yes, certainly, Councillor.
Go ahead, Brian,
thank you, Chair. Yes, fair enough question. And I suppose the management override controls is a risk that we identify in every audit, so it's not unique to this council. We're obliged to conduct our audit in accordance with international standards on auditing. And if you look at that part of the audit strategy, under that applicable standard 240, there's a presumed significant risk of material misstatement due to fraud through management override controls. So that's inherent in every audit that we do, and we bring it to the attention of the committee and to the organisation that it's an area we look at every audit. So it's not unique to this council; it's in every audit.
Thank you,
Brian. Tracy, if we bring you in then, please.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Brian, for the strategy. My question is really for management to address the actions required by this committee on page 3, and whether management has plans in place to address those two key significant risks. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Tracy, for your question. I'll bring in Liam. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Thanks for the question, Tracy. Certainly, within going concern financial resilience, there was a paper presented to the Governance Committee last night containing the work undertaken by Council, short-term plans, medium to long-term plans in terms of ensuring that the Council is protected for long-term sustainability through management of budgets, through interactions through the estimates process, through efficiency programmes. So we're fairly content that we have a good measure and control over what's going on. And for reassurance as well, the Estimates Working Group will be kicking off at the end of June this year. So going through all of the processes that we undertake every year, but recognising difficulties in the organisation economic climate, we'll be kicking that off earlier this year as well. So we think all of those together, plus the reporting that we undertake, and plus the audit that will be undertaken by the Northern Ireland Audit Office, will provide the protection for the Council.
Thanks for that assurance, Liam. Thank you.
Thank you, Liam, for your reply. Okay, members, so we agreed to note. Agreed. Thank you. Members, agenda item 4, again, it's another item for noting the draft performance improvement plan. Martina is here, but this was approved last night at our committee. So members, if anyone has any questions or if we're agreed to note, I'm happy to take any questions. All agreed to note then? Yep. Okay, thank you, members. Agenda item 5, 5.1 is an item for decision or final internal audit plan. Members, this is something that from memory was brought before us in March, and there's just it always comes back then in June with any final changing. So members who have seen it and all, I'll ask Carol if you will come in then. Thank you, Carol.
Thank you, Chair, and good evening, members. Yes, this is the final internal audit plan for the 23-24 year. The new 4-year strategic internal audit plan approved by the committee in March has informed the development of this plan and sets out the programme of work for the year ahead. The overall opinion of internal audit on Council's framework of governance, risk management and control is based on completion of the audit work set out in this plan. A draft plan was approved at the March meeting, but this final plan includes a more accurate breakdown of the 22-23 audits completed in the first quarter of the year. And the final plan also includes a number of audits carried over from the previous plan and will form part of the 23-24 audit opinion. Other amendments to the plan include a provision of 10 days to carry out targeted fraud awareness workshops, an additional 10 days for investigation work, an increased scope of a number of ongoing audits, including payroll, Orchard Leisure Centre, fuel and inventory. To facilitate all the amendments, it was necessary to remove 4 audits from the draft plan in relation to cemetery, CCTV, Banbridge Leisure Centre and Rich Hill Recreation Centre. These will be considered for inclusion then in the 24-25 internal audit plan. It is important that the plan is flexible and is continually reviewed to ensure that it remains aligned to the key risks of council operations and controls. Progress on the delivery of the internal audit plan, along with any revisions, then will be brought back to the future committee during the year. So I'd ask members to consider and approve the final internal audit plan for 23-24, and happy to take any questions on it.
Thank you, Carol. And okay, members, we have no lights on. Has anyone any questions? Okay, if not, can we have a proposer and a seconder to accept the final audit plan? I would say it was approved originally in March. This is the final one, so we have a proposer and a seconder. Proposed Councillor Herr and seconder Councillor Duffy. Thank you, members. All agreed? Agreed. Thank you. Okay, members. Again, agenda item 5.3, Performance Audit Committee Annual Review. This is another item for noting, members. Do we have any questions around the 5.3, the Performance Audit Committee? I don't see any hands up, but Tracy, you were moving there, no? You're okay. Okay, members, all agreed to note? Thank you. It's like an auction, Tracy. If you sneeze or you bought something here, so I just trying to keep an eye on both here. And agenda item 5.4, members, internal audit annual review of effectiveness. Members, again, item for noting. Do we have any questions? Okay, members, have a proposer and a seconder for this one. Anyone online is happy to propose as well or second? We're just trying to get everybody in here. It's just for information. Sorry, members. That's great. You're ahead of me on this one. So members all agreed to note? Thank you. Okay, members, who seek a proposer and a seconder to go into committee for consideration of the confidential items. Proposed by the Vice Chair and seconded by Councillor Duffy. Members and online viewers, in accordance with the Schedule 6 of the Local Government Act, exempt information will now be moving to the confidential section of the Council. This means that we'll be turned off the public feed of this meeting. This will be returned when the meeting is restarted. Can I ask ICT officers? Turn to me when it's on, so the meeting can proceed in open session. Thank you, members. Okay, members, agenda item 7 is just an item of correspondence. I suppose just on that, could I welcome Brian here? He's already on it. This letter tells us that he's coming. Thank you, Brian, for attending tonight. And also, could we put on record our thanks to Colette Kane, who I know is still with the organisation, but we're no longer involved with ourselves here. So we'll just do that for an item of correspondence. Members, we're on to agenda item 8, and it's any other relevant business. I have not received anything today before 12 o'clock. If you do have any, please put it in before 12 o'clock on the day of the meeting, but we have not been advised of any. But could I just, at this stage, just thank Tracy and Sam. I know Sam's not on tonight, but I think this is possibly the end of your term as it is, Tracy. You could be back, I'm not sure, but we just wanted to thank you both for your attendance at the committee meetings and for your questions and input over the last 4 years. And we just want to wish you all the best. And could I thank all the members for their attendance tonight? As I say, it's quite a few new faces, and there is some training that we recommend you go on. Could also mention our best wishes to Sharon McNichol. I think this is her last committee meeting with us here for performance and audit as Sharon moves on to her new roles. We wish you well, Sharon. Thank you for all your input and your working with you over the last number of years. We wish you well in the future. Members, can I thank you all again for your attendance and wish you all a wonderful evening. Thank you.